welcome to this week's Karma Cards. I hope that you're having a wonderful week. And speaking of wonderful, or I don't know, the energy, I don't know actually, the energy right now with the Schumann resonance is kind of off the hook. It's really spiking a lot. We're not seeing like big whiteouts like when we're really getting an intense spike, but we're getting a lot of like spiking energy and people are feeling it. Also, the KP index is up again at 5, and that's for today. This is Wednesday, the 23rd of February that this is happening on, but we are going to feel it residually throughout the week as the energy continues to spike. So notice how you're responding in this time. Like for me, I feel tired. I feel like I know what I need to get done, but I don't quite have the energy to fulfill the task. And I was just talking with a friend of mine. He's feeling the same way. And it's also, I'm noticing my husband, I went to talk to him just a few minutes ago, and he's like laying there, not laying there, he's sitting there with his eyes closed, like having a sitting upright nap. So, are you feeling it too? Are you feeling exhausted, tired for reasons that you can't figure out, wanting to lay down? Usually what I get when this is happening is something needs to be incorporated, and the best way for it to incorporate in your system is for you to lay down and sleep, take a nap. It's the easiest way for energies to be upgraded or updated in your own system. So if you find yourself inexplicably tired, instead of reaching for another cup of coffee, which is very tempting, I know, try to see what you can do to honor that feeling. Even if you can't stop what you're doing, stop and breathe, right? So deep in through the nose, hold it at the top for 4 seconds, and then slow release. And do that a few times just to allow the body to sort of move through that feeling of being really low energy or tired, and allow the breath to help incorporate the energies that are coming through at this time. So for today's topic, I just wanted to share with you a message that came through that I thought was really powerful. And that's around doing self-development work, which is the area that I hang out in. I love to assist with self-development work, and I also love to do my own personal development work as well. But there is a beautiful balance we're meant to strike between the deep digging into our own psyche and our soul and the joy of life, right? So these two things don't necessarily reside together. Many times when we're deep digging into our psyche or looking at what needs to be healed, we're looking at parts of ourselves that we have pushed away from us or rejected, and we are trying to reincorporate those parts of ourselves to allow that healing to occur so we can move forward with a new way of responding to the world rather than reacting to it, these are amazing works to do. It really is going to create so much more for you in your life when you take these breaks to kind of look under the hood and see how things are operating. But there is a caveat, and the caveat is trying to create the ideal version of you, right? Become the ideal human, the human that is, free of trauma or free of a shadow or free of any lower vibrational impulses. And I have to be honest with you, I don't know if we ever get to experience that on this plane. I mean, we've heard stories about, the ascended masters or yogis who find this type of attainment and enlightenment, and they have the spontaneous, right, ascension into their light body. And this is all well and good, but for most of us, that's not the path we end up taking. Most of us cannot walk away from our lives and put ourselves in a monastery somewhere until we can find that inner peace and enlightenment. Instead, it becomes about balancing being a human with making contact with our higher divine self and trying to keep that in balance. And we make contact with our higher divine self in other ways than the deep dive. I mean, we can actually concentrate our energy on moving our frequency upward and really feeling our divine soul connection. However, even that has to be balanced with the everyday life and even just joy for the sake of joy. So even though making contact with your higher self and creating a deep connection in spirit can bring you joy, even concentrating too much on that in life can cause you to lose contact with simple joy, with the joy of just feeling, right, the sun on your skin and the delight it feels to pick up a paintbrush and start painting, or listening to music, or whatever it is that just brings you joy for the sake of joy. And so the message this week from the team is really about recognizing that if you're trying to grow and develop on your spiritual journey and just in your personal development space, make sure that you come up for air. So the messenger who comes through is the blue heron. And the blue heron, in order to survive, the blue heron does deep dive to, get the sustenance she needs in life. But she always does it with the intention of supporting her life above the water. And it's a really good metaphor for us to consider that when we go do our shadow work, or we're deep digging, or we're looking into our pain or our trauma, that we're not meant to stay down there. There's something of sustenance for you to receive in those deeper layers of your psyche, but it's always with the intention of coming back up to the surface so that you can thrive in the very basic levels of life. And if you find that you've lost some of your zeal or zest for life, if the basics of life just seem kind of dried or played out, it could be because you went too deep for too long, and it's time to come up for air. And it's also a good reminder for us not to seek perfection, because we already are perfect, right? On that divine soul level, you are absolutely perfect. There's, all the suffering and the intensity we feel on this plane is already resolved at higher levels of yourself. So the idea of trying to live that here, it's an expectation, it's an ideal, right? So that's the ideal. It's what we're striving for, but it's something that we also have to hold with a sense of detachment, because life does happen. We're in a plane where we are a creator being, creating our own world in the context of a collective creating a world as well. So it's a very interesting combination that we find ourselves in. And if we're taking everything so seriously and taking everything with so much weight, you can feel that weight starts to weigh you down, and it's really hard to come up for air and just enjoy the simplest of things. So the message this week is to remind you to come up for air. Let it go. If you've done some of the work this week, allow yourself a day where none of that has to happen. If you've already been doing higher spiritual connection this week, trust that you've made a really strong connection. You've got a good line going, and it's okay to relax and just allow that to continue to support you without having to try and force or create or make that line even bigger or stronger. What if what you've created for yourself is enough to really bring you the fulfillment and the sustainment that you're looking for? And allow yourself to be a human, because we are these divine beings having a human experience. And it's so easy, especially when you're focusing on the spiritual side of it, to kind of dismiss humanity, the human part. But we wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't be going through this experience and hanging out on this plane if the human part wasn't vital to whatever our mission is. So this week we're being asked to really allow ourselves to relax, enjoy the process, enjoy being your human self, enjoy mistakes, enjoy whatever is coming up for you that might not feel like the ideal version, but it's actually also bringing you wisdom and gifts and teaching you and helping you grow. And with that, let's do this week's karma cards. Hey, if you're new to karma cards, let me quickly show you how these work. I have 3 decks here: planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team, what is the message you have for us this week? And I've got 2 sets of answers, a set in red, which are action related, and a set in blue, which are outcome related. And the way that you play is you tune in with that beautiful intuition of yours and just feel into, what do you need right now? Are you looking for action related guidance, or are you looking for outcomes? And of course, you can always choose both. And while you're choosing, here is the timing for this reading. This reading is for February 23rd through March 1st. And on the flavor of this reading, we've got the North Node. The North Node represents the direction we're heading in for the future. In the sign of Aries, Aries being, so there's something interesting because Aries is about pioneering, and then we've got the future. So something about pioneering, and then we've got the third house again. I think we got this last week, which is about expression and communication. So some way that we're pioneering expression or communication for the future. Your spiritual action at this time is to have faith in your willpower by making the right connections. So what I'm getting from my team is they're like, it's all about how you talk to yourself. That's what they're saying about making the right connections. Your willpower, you increase it or decrease it based on how you communicate with yourself. Every time you tell yourself, I've got this, I can do this, I can do hard things, you are increasing your willpower. If you're saying the opposite, you are decreasing the willpower. So what they're letting you know is you can believe in that process, have faith that that's how it works, because that's how it works. Mental action at this time. Do not worry about what you think you know about the idea in question. All right, so there's something that you're focused on at this time. That's the idea in question. And it's letting you know you don't need to worry about your thoughts about this right now. So again, it's interesting because on one hand, they're saying how you talk to yourself can help you or disable you. But also, whatever you're focused on this week, whatever's the big thing that you're tuning into, like, will this work, won't this work? You don't need to worry so much about your thoughts around that. Or you don't need to worry so much about what you think you know about it. So the details are apparently not fully visible to you. There's something else working behind the scenes on what's going on that you may not have a connection or an awareness of, and you just need to relax into that and trust it. Physical action at this time. Now is the time to do it your own way and get your ideas going. So you've got an approach already in your mind about how you're going to handle it, and your team's letting you know you've got the go-ahead that approach is the right approach. Doing it your own way to make it happen is the call of action at this time. All right, so now let's look at outcomes in the North Node in Aries in the third house of communication and expression. The spiritual outcome at this time, there will be energies to meet the challenge of your idea. So whatever this idea is, whatever the focus is right now, you're going to have the energy. And it's so funny because, we started by me telling you about how the energy is kind of low for people right now. You're going to have the energy to meet this challenge. The willpower will be there. So feel confident in that whatever you're feeling directed towards, there's energy behind it going to help you get this idea off the ground and work. Mental outcome at this time, success from your desires regarding short-term thinking and trips. So this is literally about the next week. Something's coming up in this next week. You have an approach, you have an idea, something's cooking. This is going to work in this next week. It's something that's right in front of you right now. So it's not necessarily a long-term goal. It's a short-term goal that's happening right now. There's energy behind it and a lot of support, and you're developing it. So the impetus is coming from within. It's not being suggested to you by another. It's literally the light bulb moment that happens for you that's going to be able to play out successfully. Physical outcome at this time, benefit resulting from the honesty and strength of who and what is around you. So what's really interesting about this is our ideas are connected to our integrity, right? We're following this impulse of thought and following it up with a matching action. As we do that, there is support around you to either assist you in helping build this. There's other people around you who can see that this is an honest connection that you're making, who will honestly support you. So again, this is about getting in touch with what's coming through for you and then following through on the actions you're being guided to do. So if the guidance was something like, make a meal plan and go grocery shopping and stick to that meal plan for this week. Let's say that's the idea that's coming through. You follow through on that, you're going to get support with that. There's other people around you who are going to hold that space. Now, that's just a random idea that I was thinking of, but it's anything in regards to an impulse that you're getting, that you're following through with action. The external world is going to provide support with you, who are going to come through with, who are going to come from a place of honesty and strength as well. So it's about having support from others at this time, and it's going to benefit you. So hopefully, as the week progresses, all of this unfolds and you understand what it means, but let's get to the crux of it. It's about how we're talking to ourselves, which will determine whether or not we are empowering ourselves. And as we do that, the idea comes forward. If we take action in alignment with that idea, external support shows up as well. So it's a really good week for you to be paying attention and listening to that gut impulse and following through as closely as you can. Stay in as much integrity with the plan that comes forward as possible, and you're going to see some really good results. And with that, I'm wishing you so much good luck and love this week, and I will see you next week. Mwah. My name is Therese Tucker, and I want to welcome you to Mercury Pod Coaching. I created this group coaching program to help you move out of procrastination and into traction towards your big goals. I know how it feels to dream really big and then all of a sudden find yourself sitting there spinning in place, not getting anywhere closer to your goal. It can be really easy to get caught up in feeling flustered and confused and not know what action to take, and so you completely stop taking any action at all. If this sounds familiar to you, then there's a good chance that you've got some mindset blocks in the way that are preventing you from taking actions right now that can get you closer to your big dream and create real change in your life. Here's what you need. You need someone who can see those mindset blocks and help you get out of indecision, move into inspired action, and do it quickly. And that's where I come in. So what is the Mercury Coaching Pod? It is a 30-day coaching program where you will have weekly coaching calls live with me to help you implement your plans and take action now. In this group coaching program, you will also get one private session with me where we can completely deep dive into what it is you're trying to create, and I can help you create the action tasks that you're going to need to complete in 30 days to get ahead. If you're ready to jumpstart your goals and get going right now, then you are the perfect person for this pod coaching program. So if you're interested, hit the Get Access button below. And of course, I look forward to seeing you in the Mercury Pod Coaching Program. All my love. Thank you for watching. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so that you know the next time I release a new video. Until then, stay magical.